Right, guys, starting shortly, starting now. Welcome back to another helping of Inform Live. I must be about at least an inch taller than last time, given this COVID hairstyle. So we have a bit of a treat for you today, as the title would already have given away. We're joined by MFT Energy's CEO, Torben Nordal. So a few words really on the proceedings today to give everybody who have logged in a bit of bang for buck. This is live, so you will get all the usual faux pas associated with the live production by a bunch of amateurs. I will first just introduce you to our head of studio, so you will know who your questions will come in. I will keep at a safe distance from him. This is my colleague Andy Lucas, who today is stepping into his other role as head of studio. So a very warm welcome to everybody. I would like to ask, just to make sure that we have the mechanics working here, whoever logs into this, if they could send us a quick sign of life on either, well, I think we're only live on LinkedIn. We might also be live on YouTube, but that's got about 2 subscribers. So I'd imagine that our cohort will be linked in. So if you would kindly give us a wave, and we'll see if it comes into our live studio chat line here, where we will be expecting questions to come in from your good selves. So if we can just see if it actually works. If we don't have any questions, then could we kindly ask any of our new friends at MFT to make themselves known to us, or indeed anybody at Commodity who are often left with no choice but to dial in to watch our show here. If we can just check that it's working, and those questions will come into Andy. Aha, we got Lars Christensen. Hello there. We got Cagdas with a wave. Nice. Claire, hello studio. Very good. I think that's proof that it works. Right. You have not logged in to hear me harp on about nothing. You have logged in because in the green room we have Torben Nordal Clausen. And really what prompted this was I spotted an article in Børsen, which is the Danish equivalent to the FT. And this article is broadly about an organization in growth mode, but it's also broadly about an organization that is basing its very foundation on a shareholder model, which I believe is a little new for power traders. Certainly, it's not necessarily new to independent commodity traders, but the distinct aim of this organization is to create shareholders rather than employees, and to aim for an IPO. I will get into the weeds with Torben. I think let's bring Torben out from the green room, and he can tell us much more about it. Torben, a good afternoon to you, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much, Jacob. Pleasure to be on the show.
Hey, it's an absolute pleasure. Now, Torben, let's start with a nutshell about what the MFT shareholder model is about and how it differs from a conventional power trading setup.
Yeah, well, we did when we founded the company, we had an extremely deep desire to make everyone partners, to ensure that everyone had a personal journey, but also a financial journey with us. So in order to achieve that, we developed 2 models, so everyone has the opportunity to become a partner, an owner. And the first model is a model that target entrepreneurs in the market, meaning that people that have a special talent, very good at doing business in one segment in the power or gas market. Basically, what we do is that we create a company, and instantly the team that joins us gets shares, so they are partners from the first day. And then they join the MFT platform, meaning that we have developed a platform so they can plug and play into the finance, the legal side, the treasury, the risk management, the leadership, market access. So the team of entrepreneurs, they can really focus on what they really enjoy, and that's doing business in their niche market. They don't have to think about all the administration that is taken care of. So that is the first model. And the second model is for people that actually deliver the platform. So that is people working in finance or support. And that model is that when people get on board, get employed, then we set up targets. Once they have reached the targets, they come into you can call it a partner committee, where we decide have targets actually been reached, and have they lived up to the value of the company. And once that is decided, they have opportunity to become shareholder also. And hereby, everyone, either you have talent in the business or you have talent in the support, everyone has the opportunity to become partner. So that is basically the two models that we are operating with.
Okay. Understood. Yeah. Okay. Well, you kind of answered the second question I had. Was really around sort of the how and the who. But let me ask you how the idea came about in the first place. Is it your brainchild, or where did the shareholder model come from as a concept?
It's a deep desire in the leadership, and it's a recognition that building a company is not a one-man show. It's a team show. It's everyone's effort to build a company. So this is a deep belief that we have in leadership in MFT, and we also have this deep belief that once we become successful, we also want to share the success. What's the point of you as an owner getting the whole cake when we rather would have a big party down the road where we can share the whole cake with everyone. So this is a really deep desire and recognition that building a company is a team effort. That's why we have done this.
Okay, thank you, Torben. You've led other companies. You've led a few, in fact. You've also been an investor in a number of initiatives, and you've also been a coach of a number of startups. I'm keen to understand a little bit about some of your own philosophies around the article in Børsen highlights, transparency, communication, fairness, highly relative terms. I think depending on who you ask, I want to understand where you sit on these philosophies. So let's start with transparency. What does that mean to you?
Well, the thing is, if you base transparency on our model, it means for us that we are completely honest and completely open about every single detail in our model. Meaning that if you want to create a partnership model, you should deeply mean it, and then you shouldn't hide anything. So transparency for us is that we take, you can say, we take each employee and explain into every single detail what is the model about, being completely open and honest. What can go good? What if things goes well? What is your upside? And also on the other side, if things does not go as planned, what is your risk? So that is transparency. If you want to build a partnership, you should mean it 100%. That means also you should be open. Don't hide anything. In that way, the partner also feels that you're on the same team. So that is transparency.
And that, I mean, many of the points you just mentioned just sort of dovetails onto the communication piece, which you've highlighted around achieving transparency. I guess is through the communication piece. Before moving on to fairness, which can mean a lot of things. I mean, not just reward. How would do you see a real distinction in terms of the importance of those fundamental pillars, transparency, communication, and fairness, in your shareholder model compared to a conventional model? I mean, are they not the same qualities that we're looking for in a leadership or in a culture, or are there distinctions?
I think in respect of for instance, being transparent and being fair, that should also be reflected, in for instance the legal document, because if you want to be fair, again, this is something you should mean. So what we have done is to create a very fair model, so you know exactly what terms you get in. You also know exactly the terms if you want to leave. What terms are you leaving? And the fairness is also, we will also reward you in respect of the amount of value you have created while you've been on board. So again, when you do this, you should do it by heart, so the employees and partners completely understand you, and also when you go through the legal documents, you can also see it is fair. So we have spent a lot of time on the legal side, and some of our lawyers actually said to us that even our bad lever might even be a good lever in other companies. So we have done a lot to make it really, really fair for everyone.
Yeah. Okay. No, clear. Let's talk about culture and cultural differences between what you are driving at MFT Energy versus what you've seen in other organizations. Is there, are you feeling a distinct difference in terms of the internal culture now that you've made, well, according to the article, this may have changed since, but 37 out of 61 of the employees are shareholders. Tell me what you have noticed in terms of cultural differences by implementing that shareholdership.
Yeah, I think when you become a partner, you feel different. You feel that you take a bigger responsibility to raise your hand if something is wrong, or you raise your hands when you have good ideas. And it's also challenging to be a leader when you have 37 partners, because they ask questions, they challenge you, and in that way we as leadership also become better, because we are challenged by all the brains in the company. So I feel that everyone takes their job more seriously, and everyone really strive to build a company that we can all be proud of the day when the day comes when we actually will open the doors for other investors. I've while the few times we could be in the office, I've overheard conversations from some of the team saying, well, we cannot really file this document because this is not good enough for when we do the IPO, meaning that everyone understands the journey we are on and takes it very seriously. So overall I think apart from being more motivated, people also challenge, they come with more ideas, which is good for everyone.
I get that. Let's talk about what happens then. You got a shareholder who is asking questions, challenging his or her leader. All good. Yeah. We like that. But what happens if it's somebody that's just an opinionated underperformer, or some other, should we say, some other unattractive corporate member, but it happens to be a shareholder? How do you manage that? How do you go into appraisals when you are appraising a shareholder and you actually you want the shareholdership agenda to be left behind and say, let's just talk performance, let's just talk about whether you are actually whether you're a good contributor, whether you're a toxic colleague that we need to get rid of, or you're underperforming. What can you share with us there in terms of some of the challenges that you've had?
I think first of all, it's important to split the two things. I mean, one thing is you're a shareholder, and the second thing is that you're an employee. And those two things are completely different. So in everyday life in the company, this is not mixed. I mean, you can have your shareholder hat on, and the other, you can have your employee hat on. But when you work in MFT, it's very important that you live by our values and perform as a colleague, and you will be appraised as a colleague and as an employee, no matter how many shares you have. It's the same rules for everyone. So we don't say, because you have this many shares, you have this kind of say. It doesn't matter. A shareholder is something where you discuss, where you have shareholder meetings. But in everyday life, you have to live up to the values and be a good colleague and good partner. So it's two different things that we are distinguishing very much about.
Understood. Okay. That was only one of the potential sort of challenges that I sort of could think of. You're now sort of comfortably beyond the honeymoon period in running this as a concept. And it's easy for us to sit with rose-tinted glasses on and say, oh, do traders like to get a share of their P&L? Tick. Do they like to have a part of the company? Tick. Would they like their cake and eat it any day of the week? So let's talk about challenges. Let's talk about pitfalls and how you've navigated those in the journey so far.
Of course, as you say, honeymoon is always a happy time. And then after some time, you can run into challenges, and that's the same in a company. As long as we're performing well, as we do at the moment, everybody are happy. But of course, the downside on this model is if we start to performing badly, lose money, market are not there. Of course, then the motivation could be challenged. Could be eroded. So of course, a longer period of time where the company doesn't perform will of course challenge this model, because as a partner employee, you can say, what are the shares worth then? There's no financial upside. But I believe that true partners also find a solution on this, and so we can fight together, getting back on track for whatever reason it is that we are not performing. But of course, that is the biggest pitfall, as you say, on this model, is if you as a company do not perform. And you can also say, if the situation should come that we needed to, for instance, deploy more money as shareholders, that can also be a challenge, because it's not possible maybe that all employees can contribute with extra cash. So that bad performance is the biggest pitfall for this model.
Understood. So bearing in mind that I'm sure there are a number of your shareholders that have decided to join our live session today, tell me about the IPO aim. Is it on track, Torben?
Very much. What we did last year was that we built a 3-year plan to be ready for the IPO. And last year we called it building the base. That's where we built the foundation of MFT, taking care of the finance, the legal, the treasury, the risk, the market access, building the leadership, software, IT, all the things that are essential for running a company. That was taken care of last year. And of course, there was a lot of changes going on, and a lot of these changes will settle down during this year. And what we also did last year was we employed a lot of people. So now we have very strong teams starting the 1st of Jan. So we have the right people on each position. So this year is called growth year. So this year is really about growing as much as we can, and we had a very, very good start this year. And then next year is the IPO year. That's where we finalize everything. That's where we paint the house, preparing everything so it looks nice, and we will start the process of the IPO, which will then be in 2 years' time. So overall, we are so to say, we are more or less ready for an IPO. We will just spend some time to mature the organization, to mature the business, to grow the business, and then in 2 years' time we will start approaching the IPO and do that. And also, I think it's also important for me to emphasize that IPO is not the goal for us. The IPO is a stepstone for us, because the longer perspective for our company is to become the best global trader within energy, gas and power. So this is like the goal we are aiming for, and the IPO is a tool for us to get there, and it's a tool for us also for financially, but also for everyone that are partners and working in the company, because it's a way that you as a person can grow significantly. There's so many things you can learn in this process. So strategy is in place. We are ready, getting more ready every day. And then when we feel, that we are there, then we're going external for the IPO.
Yeah. Okay. No, that's clear. IPO is part of the roadmap, not a name in itself. I get that. At what point do you feel that, or maybe you already have proof of concept, but at what point can we start talking about an acid test, whether this model has succeeded over and above a more conventional, should we say, Aarhus model? As you said, as we all know, you're not the only firm on the street. So there should be plenty of opportunity to contrast and compare. At what point can we get you back on the show and ask you to bring your homework and we'll do a proper asset test? When do you feel that you could look at that and genuinely compare it to should we say a more traditional setup?
Well, if it goes well, I come back. Otherwise, you will not hear from me. That's the first thing. But I think you cannot really say one model is better than the other. I think both models can work fine. You can have a partnership model and you can also have a conventional model.
Yeah.
But I think the biggest difference is the feeling it creates for everyone, because you can have a conventional model and then a few people can make a lot of money, but our model has a different purpose. We don't measure our success only financially. We also measure it in respect of the motivation that we create, that we are able to empower all the talents to become the best they can be. So for us, it's not only the financial. It's most important for us is actually the personal growth journey that we are able to offer people, and that's also for me as a leader and my colleague in leadership. That is our greatest motivation. That is actually when we can help our talents to succeed. So for us, if you measure financially, both models, there's not so many differences. The thing is that we share of financial success. And that's really what what motivates us also.
Clear. What are the challenges for you as a leader for a setup like that? Because it differs somewhat from the types of energy businesses you've led before. How have you had to adjust?
I don't think I had to. I had to adjust so much, and I don't think leadership has to adjust so much. I think one of the challenges is what we touched about before, is that the mix of having partners that are both employees and also shareholders. Yeah. So even though I said before very clearly we try to split it, in reality sometimes it is mixed. So we just have to help ourselves, everyone, that now we talk employees talk or now we talk shareholder talk. So I think that there's a little bit blurry thing there that we organization have to work with. So I think that is one of the things that we have to adjust, in everyday business.
Understood. Okay. We haven't been blessed with any questions, Torben. I'm pleased to share with you. So I was thinking we were going to get a few more challenges. Lots of thumbs up and rockets from Team MFT and others. So thank you for that, Marie, Danny, Lars, Omar, Lasse, Nana, Sarana, Chris Taps. Yeah. There was some nice comments, but no hard questions for you. I'm afraid. So what I will now, for those kind viewers who've lent us 25 minutes of their lunch hour, there is something in it for you. Torben has offered a quick takeaway guide on shareholder agreement, investment tax, warrant program for employees. It's presented in a very visual, digestible format, which I think is a kind of a go-to model, which we will happily let you have a copy of. Either contact Torben or myself. Nope. Sorry. And yeah, that might have some value. I certainly appreciate it, Torben. And as I said, we have that in PDF form, and we are happy to share the love after the show. So a last look to our audience. I don't believe you have any questions. So Torben, any final words from you before we decide to call this a wrap?
I think you're doing a good job as a host.
Hi, thank you very much.
But maybe could be some general market questions. How that could be, the going forward in the market. Maybe you have some questions around that.
Oh, hello. We've got somebody. Let's bring it in. Here we go. I think you may, the name may immediately ring a bell there.
Yeah, I heard about this guy.
You've heard about him. So you can have a look at the question, Torben, and let us know your response.
Yes. Well, over time, I've been in contact with, first of all, I've been running companies myself, but then I've also been coaching a lot of companies. I think when I stopped working back in the days, I helped companies free of charge, and I think I helped like 250 companies, coaching them with their strategy and helping them forward. And of course, in that perspective, I saw many companies. And what I look for in companies, what is the uniqueness? I think there are two main things. First of all is team. Is the team strong enough? Because when you run a company, there will always be challenges. There will always, suddenly a tree fall down, you have to find a way around it. So there will always be things happening in a company that you cannot imagine. You cannot imagine Corona last year. There's some, internal, external, there will always be challenges. So what I really look at is the team. Is the team strong? So the team can overcome the challenges. That's like the main thing. The second thing is, of course, the market and the business model. Is the company able to actually create a profit somehow? And I've seen many companies that do not have the courage to actually make money. They would rather go down to the square in the city and hand out free coffee to 1,000 people, and they say, I have 1,000 clients, but you don't. You just have handed out something for free. So a lot of companies, they don't have the ability to have a really good sound business model where you actually can make money, because you can have big purpose and you can have big passion, but if you don't make profit, eventually you will stop running your business. So I look for team and I look for market and business model. And if you look at MFT, the team there, I think 47% of the team has more than 8 years of experience. We have 30% are from different nationalities. So it's a diversified company that has a lot of experience, and of course, many of us, we have been working together, so we also know each other. We have been at war together. We have been fighting together. We have built something together. So the team is unique. And then, of course, the second point is the market. The market is driven by volatility, and as far as we can see, the volatility will continue for a foreseeable future. There will be more and more renewables coming in. More of the conventional energy sources, coal, will be outsourced or closed down. So the volatility in the market will be around for many years. So we look into a future where the business model of trading, where we can move energy around in Europe, in Asia, and the US, will be there for foreseeable future. So I think the combination of a strong, experienced team and a very interesting market makes special.
Very good. Torben, I thought I was going to let you off the hook, but I'm not, because there are a few questions coming in. One, I'm just blatantly going to ignore because I don't really even fully understand it, around blockchain. So for the anonymous LinkedIn user who has...
Christian at Wolstead.
Oh, is it?
Yes, a gentleman,
Why is it coming up as a anonymous LinkedIn user? Okay, well, let's bring it in so that my ignorance should not stand in the way of Torben getting a decent question. But I'm the reason why I'm keen to keep this on a kind of people culture. Now we're jumping into blockchain, a subject that I know precious little about. But I do like questions from the room, so I'm not gonna kill the vibe by not putting them to you. But I must say I'm keener on the next question, to be quite honest. So unless you feel really strongly about this question around using blockchain consensus tech for this purpose.
Yeah, I've experienced a few startups out of Asia that had worked or does work with blockchain and in the energy market, but that has been primarily focused on consumers, where where you easily can measure, when are you using energy and various prices, and hereby you can use, blockchain to settle the consumption. But in our markets, I don't see the purpose because blockchain, that's also, it helps in respect of a lot of administration. And of course, in the consumer market, you can imagine a lot of consumers, a lot of administration. So that in that way, it could make sense. And I think the companies I saw in Singapore are actually doing okay on this matter. But on the trading business, you trade against an exchange, so there are no papers, and it doesn't really make any sense.
Thank you. That's enough on that question. I want to talk about the next one. This is from Sarana, and this is about empowering women in the energy industry. So let me first of all get a feel for how many women are in MFT. What's the split?
We are 11%. We are 7 women out of 62. So we are 11% and growing. We just employed a new woman yesterday, actually. So we would love to have more women in the industry because it's diversity. And as I mentioned before, 30% of our workforce are international. So the more diversified a business you can get, and also internationally wise, the better it is. I think in my previous company, I grew from, there was hardly any women. I think when I stopped, we were like 30%. Yeah. And having a diversity, in my view, makes everyone better because you like to perform better. And you also have different opinions. The cultural element is also better. So I can only encourage women to join.
We can all agree on the merit of diversity, but I also think we can't dress up the fact that you got 7 women as a good result. I think that's poor for a small, young, exciting company. So what do you apart from Brit? Sorry about that. Keen daughter to get hold of me. I'm sorry. I should have switched it off. But anyway, I'm just wondering, beyond kind of the buzzwords, we must get more women in, or you make a comparison to your previous role and you say this is better than where I came from, and I'm saying, I'm sorry, I'm putting it off now. And I'm saying I don't think it's this is not what good looks like. What does good look like for you, and how can we get there? And then I think we'll get to maybe weave into that answer. What's your take on how we actually? I mean, Sarana is using the term. How do we empower women in the energy industry? Do you have a take on that, Torben?
I think
this starts at the top.
I think, you might argue that, 7 is not enough, and I agree. But I think what is important is the openness actually to change it and moving in the direction where you get more diversity. And that is what we are aiming for. So I agree, right now it's not so diversifiable when you look at men and women. But we also have to recognize the fact that when you look on the trading side, 2/3 of all our people are trading, and somehow that part of the business and industry, somehow that is mostly men. That is mostly men looking into that to become traders. And we would love to have more traders, but we don't have so many people actually applying for that part. We have more people, more women applying for the support function, and there we are very much open, to employ women and empower them. And to give you one example, we have Angela, who came in some years back as a young girl, and now she's in charge of all our market access, and she took responsibility and we empowered her. So now she has fully responsible for opening all our markets.
Yeah.
So this is an example, and we cannot pressure it, and we don't want to pressure it more than we always try to look at the skills when we get employees, but the fact is we don't get many application on the training side. So that is we would love to have more women coming in, but we also we don't have so many to choose from on the training side.
No. Do you actively for lack of a better word, use your good examples? So women that are there on merit, not
how many phones you have?
I've got a couple of phones. Yeah, I did promise that we're going to get all the live shenanigans. I didn't realize that I was going to get it quite so close to home. Anyway, can you tell her that we can't speak right now? No, I was just thinking a way to get the message out in a meaningful way, and I do take the point about that. It's mainly blokes that want to be sitting behind the 8 screens and everything that goes with it. But maybe there is an element of awareness creation, education that kind of may start at college, may start at university, may start at career fairs, may even start on LinkedIn, where you can profile case studies, and we'll learn about women doing an awesome job, which will hopefully also inspire others to come and knock on the door of MFT. And I think by then, sort of slowly but surely create momentum. I'm guessing that it may initially feel a little contrived. You've got a cohort of 7 out of 61, and you might celebrate them more than others, but you're doing it to, you don't need to. What's this? No. Oh, thank you, Claire. Okay, I'll bring the diversity debate to a close. I was interested because I think young shops like yours are in a prime position to actually not suffer from some legacy position, because for all intents and purposes you're relatively new on the block. So but we can also discuss some of my takes on this offline, Torben, if you're interested. I think it's a subject matter which means a lot to me, and it goes way beyond a gender issue. I think the companies that are looking at being pioneers in terms of harvesting the merit of a diversified front office, I think is a very interesting debate to go into. I think, can we have a last look at the chat room? Okay, I think we're pretty much done. Yeah. So, Torben, I'm going to say thank you very much for for your time, for your insights. From all of us here in the studio, we wish you and your colleagues every bit of success. A reminder to everybody that the quick how-to shareholder guide is available. A quick message away to either myself or Torben as a takeaway from today's chat. So I think we will say goodbye to Torben, and thank you very much for your time. I'd just like to ask everybody else just to stay on for a bit so we can just talk about what's coming up. So we have another treat in place for you guys. This is practically competing with Netflix with the amount of good stuff coming up. On Friday, we have a rather different subject. We have Nick Anderson, who is the athletics and an endurance athlete coach from Team GB and indeed Polar, who I have gone into a collaboration with. And we are going to talk about optimization, but not trading optimization, not asset optimization, but how you optimize yourself as a performer. Before you dismiss this as some discussion between two blokes about endurance running, you can forget all that, because you ask yourself a simple question. If you're interested in running, or if you're interested in performing better tomorrow than you did today, I would suspect that you can take something away from that session on Friday. I will put something out, but we're looking at a lunchtime slot. Nick Anderson knows an awful lot about everything from using tech, using data, optimizing sleep, optimizing performance, and I will do my very best to make it edible for a runner of any distance. So whether you run 1, 2, 5, 10, half a marathon or more, I'm hoping that we're going to make this super inclusive and definitely worthy of your lunchtime hour. Bring questions, and we'll just have a slightly different vibe on Friday. Guys, from us here in the studio, much appreciate your time, and hopefully we will see you again soon.